Office, carnal knowledge of a juvenile. Sentencing date, March 17, 2014. Revoked on July 21st, 2016. Sentenced to a total of 10 years. Parole date, May 11th, 2019. Good time, not eligible. Full term, January 12th, 2026. Is this information correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Marabella.
Thank you very much. Mr. Perez, my name is Tony Marabella. Your case was assigned to me, so I'll begin the interview. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Perez, how old are you, sir?
I'm 34.
And how long have you been in prison on these charges?
6 years.
All right. Now, I understand you're in prison because your probation was revoked. Tell me about the crime itself, the crime for which that you're actually in prison, carnal knowledge of a juvenile. Tell me what happened.
I'll tell you everything. The actual crime happened in 2008,
Okay.
but I was convicted in 2014.
Okay. I read all of that. I just want you to tell me what you did.
All right. One night took ecstasy for the first time. No lie. I was having fun for the first time in years because I grew up in St. Bernard Parish. 2005, Katrina came in, so I was devastated. Katrina rebuilt in.
Just tell me what you did.
I had sex with a 16-year-old. I was 21, had sex with a 16-year-old.
Now, what did you do to violate your your probation that got you put back in prison for 10 years?
I was smoking medical marijuana before I was convicted of the charge. The judge, the district attorney knew before I even took the plea deal. They refused to listen to any knowledge of hemp, CBD oil. I'm in jail for CBD oil.
You violated your probation by continuing to use drugs?
CBD, sir. CBD.
I'm not going to argue legally with you. The judge put you in jail because you violated your parole. You were using drugs that weren't allowed on your probation. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, at the time. Yes, sir.
Now tell me what you've done since you've been in prison. What programs have you taken?
Well, from 2016 all the way to 2019, I was shipped to Plaquemines Parish Detention Center. I had no programs. I came up for parole in 2019. I got denied parole. After I got denied parole, Plaquemines Parish Detention Center sent me to Winfield. Winfield shut down because they went to immigration. After Winfield, I went to Rayville. Richland, all the way to the top, almost died in the north. I was in lockdown. I refused to leave lockdown. I wrote to the police.
What programs have you taken? You can tell me why you haven't taken whatever you taken.
Anger management, sex offender program.
What sex offender programs have you taken?
Well, here's the problem. It's hard because since I came to Hunts, everything shut down.
Mr. Perez, we'll worry about how hard it is. What sex offender programs have you taken? You said you took sex offender programs. I show you may have taken one of the 4 phases. How much have you done?
I've taken 2 phases, sir, because my social worker refuses to give me any certificates. I cannot get no help. Once again, y'all is telling me try to do something, I cannot get help. I'm sorry, I can't get help from nobody. I'm sorry, I can't get help from nobody.
You want to calm down, okay?
Well, I'm being honest.
Mr. Perez, are you on any kind of medication?
No, I'm just nervous right now because it seems that everything's my fault, but it's not my fault.
Mr. Perez, you had sex with a 16-year-old girl. You pled guilty to carnal knowledge of a juvenile. The judge gave you probation. A 10-year sentence, he gave you probation. You violated your probation for whatever reason. You're arguing with me about how crazy the judge was for violating you. And
Same
you're in
court,
prison.
the same court allowed a teacher to have sex with 2 minors
Mr.
that were
Perez,
not guilty.
Mr. Perez, that teacher isn't before this board. Why should I let you out? How have you changed since you've been in prison?
Because people learn from mistakes, Your Honor.
Well, tell me what you learned.
I learned a lot.
Well,
Being
tell me.
away from my state, being away from my job, helping my state grow going forward instead of back. My father is a chemist. I do spray foam installation.
Mr. Perez, let me ask you this way. If you are released, are you gonna go back to using whatever substance it was that the judge revoked you on?
No, sir.
Why not?
No, sir. Why? Because I was young. I grew up. Being in incarceration for 6 years, over every second, every minute, every hour, away from your family and away from going to a grocery store and just doing normal daily activities and losing family members, going to the grave and going back to a situation that people are no longer with me, I've learned. Trust me, I have learned 6 years.
Mr. Perez,
hard.
what substance abuse programs have you taken since you've been in prison?
I ain't got none because they won't give me
What
none.
anger management courses have you taken since you've been in prison?
One anger management. That's what the class is.
Thank you, that's all I've got. Warden, can you tell us anything about Mr. Perez?
Mr. Mirabella, I'm really not familiar with Perez. I do have comments from the staff who directly, I guess you want to say, supervise him on Unit 1. He is in the dormitory 5-1, which is one of our mental health general population dormitories. But my major and a lieutenant colonel from the unit says that he does have a positive attitude and good conduct, and I guess under the circumstances, with I guess his understanding. And I also see here, and I know you have before you also, sir, he doesn't have any disciplinary reports. So I guess the staff that works with him does understand his temperament or his disposition with explaining himself. But that's all I have, sir.
Great. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Okay, at this time, we have a speaker here today, Ms. Barbie, mother there would like to speak. Ma'am, anything you'd like to say, go ahead and say it.
Hold on, I'm trying to figure this out. Hi. As a child, Randy was diagnosed with ADD and ADHD. He does have a learning disability, always has been. He's always that one child that I've always had to worry about. And, you know, do I think he needs to come home? Absolutely. I think he's learned. Randy's always had a big heart that would help anybody out. Open doors for elderly. I mean, he just went way beyond the Call of Duty of volunteering. And my husband's going blonde 6 years later. You know, I'm trying to run the business. My youngest one's military/police. My other son's trying to help me with the business, but you know, we're just all praying that it's been 6 years, and we're just all praying that he can come home and be part of the family. You know, it's been tough because he's been there 6 years, and like he said, he's been from pillar to post, pillar to post, pillar to post, and finally he made it to Hunts, and then I was finally able to go see him on an emergency because I didn't see him for 5 years, and then COVID hit, and then, you know, we seem to be back to square one again.
Right.
And, you know, I live in one of the prestige neighborhoods in New Orleans, which is Lakeview, and we're just all ready for Randy to come home. It's been 6 hard years without my son, and his dad's gone blonde, like I said, and we own an installation company, and, you know, we're just all praying he comes home.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. I don't know how to work this.
Okay, you can go ahead and mute your mic there, Ms. Randy, and at this time, Mr. Randy Myers will be speaking.
Good afternoon, Randy Myers, Assistant DA Jefferson Parish. We're opposed at this time to Mr. Perez's request. apologize for a mistake I made earlier with a note I had about sex offender treatment. So I went back and double checked this file, make sure I didn't make the same mistake. The progress report indicates he needs anger management, substance abuse treatment, sex offender treatment, 12 steps, $100. The report indicates he was removed from Cage Rage. And the record also shows that he did take sex offender phase 1. However, he missed a meeting with the psychiatrist in January of 2022 with regard to the sex offender treatment. He was revoked. I just pulled it up and looked at the record. He was arrested for possession of marijuana and possession of drug paraphernalia, which was the basis for the revocation. He needs some additional programs in order to be prepared to be released from prison. We think he needs to be denied today until he can take and complete a sufficient programming. Thank you.
It's crazy.
Okay, at this time, Mr. Perez, anything you'd like to say to the board before we vote?
Everything I've said, yeah, all of y'all, I've been right 100%. Hemp and marijuana is medicine, and LSU and Southern University is growing in, it's helping people, and it's proven fact that it's helping people during the COVID-19. Hemp, the Constitution is written on him. Louisiana Constitution is written
Okay,
on
we're
him.
not talking about that.
Yes, because you keep saying our probation was broke for marijuana, I keep telling you it's hemp. CBD oil. I'm just saying. I'm the first time
At this time, the board will be voting. Mr. Tony Marabella, be voting at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Perez, in interviewing you and talking with you, it's clear to me that, number one, you don't accept responsibility for what you did. Your writings say you're being unconstitutionally held in prison. You're legally in prison. You're not accepting responsibility for that. Our documents clearly show that our evaluation clearly shows that you need anger management programs, substance abuse treatment, sex offender treatment, vocational skills treatment, and some knowledge about the 12-step program. It sounds to me that you just refuse to take those things.
How can I when I'm locked down? I'm in a dorm 24/7, sir. I'm in a dorm 24/7.
My vote today is going to be to deny your parole.
Mr. Marabella, just go ahead and vote.
I voted to deny his parole.
Okay, Ms. Jackson.
All right, likewise, my vote is to deny. It's obvious that Mr. Perez has some serious mental health issues that really need to be addressed. And I hope his family will get him that help when he's released. But my vote today is to deny.
Okay. At this time, I vote to deny on the same condition. Thank y'all very much.
Oh my gosh. And when you think you've seen it all, this one, we've seen a few that have gone sideways, but absolutely this one takes the cake. Hey, if there's any program that this dude needs, it is anger management. I mean, Mr. Marabella hit it on the head when he went in there and said what he said. I was like, couldn't have said it better. He's like, you're in prison